Welcome to Vintage Coin-Op Restorations and International Mutoscope's 1940 radar rocket. Well, you guys been calling me asking what's going on with this machine. Well, we have finally almost finished it. Cabinet is all done. The machine pretty much works, but before we started, no one had any idea exactly how this machine worked or what it exactly did. So we are missing a couple things. There's a marquee on top of the machine that I have not finished yet, and when we have that, we'll actually play the machine. But I'm going to go over the mechanics of exactly what this machine does. For starters, when the machine's plugged in, as per the advertising for this machine, there is movement in the back glass constantly, and they call it a stroboscope. And if you look really closely here, it's two back glasses, and one's rotating on the other, and you're getting this really cool effect that goes continuously. Even when you're not, no one's playing the game, it's constantly running. However, I'm not a big fan of that, so I'll show you later on exactly what I did to only work when the game is being played, just because if you're like me, I like to leave my games on when they have company over. And sometimes, if you forget, I hate to have these motors running for hours and hours and hours. Not that they can't handle it, it's just, what we don't know what could happen. From time to time, I burned out some transformers, so we don't want anything like that to happen, especially a fire. So we eliminated that whole feature, so it only will do the stroboscope when you're playing. So what exactly are we playing? Well, you got these rocket chips around the glass there that have certain points. So, and this is what we're going to do. In here you got this flying saucer handle, which is its sister machine, Flying Saucers, the only two machines that Mutoscope made with these handles. And what you're going to do is you're flying by radar, hence the name radar rocket. And originally they just had a 55 or a 47 light bulb underneath this thing, and it was like a cloud of white. So you really didn't know what you kind of had an idea. Okay, I was in the center, I was on the edge, or on the outside edge. So we did have to change that because it made the game not definitive, I guess. It's just, you were just playing it without much skill. So to change that, we ended up putting a cover over a light bulb, drilling a real tiny hole, a pinhole, and now, just like when you see a radar, it's a beep or a little, little white speck. So that's what we have now. So we have this little white speck that you'll see on this on the play field, and you're gonna fly with this handle. You're moving the entire mechanism, but you are moving this white light bulb dot to be right in that center. Well, not is it just to be in the center, you have to hold it in that center, because depending on where the cycle is on the scoring mech, the worst case scenario, you'd have to hold it in that center for 3 seconds to get your point. And when you see this, it's almost impossible. It is extremely difficult game to play. I think younger kids, as they play this game, they're gonna go, that's okay, that's a little too hard. But very challenging. And depending on where you're at, if you are in the outside, you're not getting any points. If you're in this, I guess it would be slow area, you will get, I guess what it is a click on the score machine. If it's if you're in fast, and terrific is the center. And depending on where you are and where you get that point, you'll see these up here: Earthbound, Out of This World. And if you hit the exact center, you're in the Milky Way. So the whole point is you need to steady this thing and hold it there long enough to pick up the points. And so, yeah, exactly what are the points? And I'll tell you that in a second, but let's take a quick look at this cabinet now. As you can see, it is original colors, so we did do a little speckle on there. Now the graphics on the side, that is exactly how the graphics were, though we did change them a little bit. We added a little color to our rocket ships. That if you've seen the original advertising for this machine, or if you saw my initial video, all it was a white rocket, and in the front it was a white rocket. It was like, let's get this game out and let's not spend any time in making it look good. Though here, I think this thing just looks absolutely beautiful. So, Travel Across the Universe. Again, if you saw the first video, you would have seen what this machine looked like before we started. And this doesn't even come close to what we have now. Every single piece you hear was completely rusted, locked up, so we had spent a lot of time doing this. One of the features, as you look at, as you listen to, see the advertising for this machine, this switch right here turned on the stroboscope. It turned it on when the game was just plugged in and sitting waiting for a client to put their money in. And that's when I was like, well, let's eliminate that, and I'd like it to only operate when the game is running. So by doing that, we ended up taking the two wires off of there, and we ended up adding another finger switch. As when the game is in operation, we're going to get this to pull down, and in turn that will pull and make contact to keep the game going. And when the game's over, obviously this turns off, releases, and that turns off the stroboscope. So, and as you can see, you have your three coils here, and as you would guess, it's for your center, medium, was it slow, terrific, and fast coils. And as you come around here, as you would make your points, you advance a click. So, and here's the reset. Well, exactly what is this radar thing about? So, let me see if I can kind of show you up here. It might be a little difficult. There it is. You see that little brass plate up there? That brass plate is broken down into 3 separate zones. And as I move my handle around, I could control where I'd want it to go. So like right now, if you can see, well, behind that wire, I am right smack in the center of the dot. And if I were to turn the machine on, yes, you would probably get your point. But here's the problem. That handle doesn't stay in one position. It moves. And there's a motor here, and I will show you if I can turn it here. So this motor is constantly moving your hand. I mean, you're not controlling it. It's a motor moving the mechanism that you are trying to steer at the same time. Let's see if I get closer to that. So you're not. It's very difficult to keep that, and it's not in a pattern, so you can figure it out. Going, okay, I'm going to do it. You know. So eventually you can figure it out, but it definitely is going to take some patience to get that. And as you see those 3 fingers, those are your fast, medium, slow contacts. And as you would suspect, if you're on that and the finger isn't pulled all the way in, you're not going to get the point. It's only going to get the point at the points of the star that we see up there. So that makes it, you know, sure, you're going to be playing the game going, oh, I went over the thing, why didn't it give me a point? Well, it's because of the timing, and if it wasn't right on that exact moment while you were there, you don't get it. So Like I said, this is an extremely difficult game to play, and but a lot of fun. So there's a lot of skill to this thing. We're very happy to get this thing absolutely running, because when we started, we had no idea what to expect, what exactly was going on. Just from the advertising, it sounded so cool that I had to have it. So here it is. And another thing, besides the stroboscope, you have all these little planets, Neptune, Visit the Rainbow Room, Meatless Meatballs. That's just a little bit of advertising, funny stuff, but nothing really happens behind here. It is just lighted, so you get a little light there, so you can kind of watch it. But the big thing about this is the stroboscope. Well, there you have it. Stay tuned so you can see the finished product and this game in action. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to our videos so you can see all the new machines coming to our warehouse.